Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another video. As you can see, we've got the Arsenal shirt on because we need to discuss Vinicius Junior to Arsenal. That is a real possibility, and if I was a Premier League fan, I'd be worried. We are going to get, hopefully, the best winger in the world, in my opinion. And for anyone that hasn't seen him this season, he's been very, very good. He's Vinicius Junior. He has been Vinicius Junior, been doing Vinicius Junior things. But my main thing with him is we'll have three wingers. We'll have Christos Solis, an amazing young winger, has the potential to do major, major things in the future. Martinelli, who I think will have to offload if Vinny comes in. And then Vinny, of course. I'll touch on more the Martinelli situation in a second, but that will mean we have one of the best young wingers in the world, the best winger in the world who's in his prime, not even in his prime yet. He's still got more growing to do. I think, genuinely speaking, this signing could be the one that starts a dynasty for Arsenal, and that is something that, if I was a Premier League fan, I'd be very, very worried about. Now, on Martinelli, I do think that he needs to go. I've never rated him since he's dropped off. Since that 23-24 season, halfway through, when he just stopped giving out goals and assists and just began to look not great. I think he's needed to go. We've needed to replace him. Trossard was brought in as, the panic buy because we didn't get Mudryk. And Mudryk was going to be the Martinelli replacement. Trossard, he was slower than Martinelli, not what Mikel Arteta wanted, but he did a very good job, and obviously we all love him at Arsenal. We didn't want to see him leave. He, in my opinion, should have been the first choice winger last season, the season before when he came in. I think that if you say to me, you're going to get Christos Solis and Vinny Jr., Mikel Arteta's not going to want to sell Martinelli. He's going to refuse. My first question is, what does he bring to the table? What does Martinelli bring to the table? Because, in my opinion, Solis is already far past what Martinelli will ever achieve in football. Goals and assists-wise, talent-wise, he's far, far better. So, to keep Martinelli, and probably play him over Solis, if we're being serious and real, that would be stupid. And then Vinicius Junior, world-class player, would be a marquee statement signing. If you, in the past, look at Mikel Arteta, he's reluctant, a lot of the time, reluctant to replace his favourite players. Martinelli's been in that side for years. Last season, we signed every player that we needed, other than that left winger, because he didn't want to replace Martinelli. He didn't want to play Trossard over Martinelli, even when Trossard was in good form. He was always off the bench, Trossard, and he always did a job. And that's why it would make me nervous signing Vinicius, because I reckon it has potential to push Christos Solis out of contention. And it sounds mental, but I think it might just be true. Because historically, Arteta's wanted fast wingers who can just go that, be up and down, up and down, up and down, work hard. See, Vinicius Junior is a different player to that. Solis is not. So, it'd be Martinelli and Solis competing for that role. I think Vinicius Junior will always play, because if we go for Vinicius Junior and we sign him, that's Arteta indicating that he wants to change it up. But he'll obviously still want those players that work hard and get back in the squad. I think, out of Solis and Martinelli, he'll choose Martinelli. And that's the worrying thing for me as an Arsenal fan. But I don't know. I really don't know. I'm desperate for him. I'm really desperate. Now that it's come out that we're going to explore it, that we're going to look for it, whether we can get him. We've got the money. We already know we've got the money. David Ornstein's reported that. It's just whether we want to spend it. And if we do spend it, Arteta's got some decisions to make. Martinelli is a great... No, don't lie. He's a decent player. He can definitely still play in the Premier League. He can play for a mid-table side. Maybe even a Brentford or a Bournemouth could really use his services. But he's not good enough anymore. But back to Vinicius. Oh, could you imagine Vinicius at Arsenal? It's scary for the Premier League. Exciting for me. And I'm gonna be real here. I think that would be the signing that wins the Champions League, as well as Bruno Guimaraes. Bruno Guimaraes, that would be top. That would be really, really top. If he was to come in, I think that could win us a back-to-back Premier League. Him and Vinny would win us a back-to-back Premier League. Vinny himself would win us the Champions League. But I just want to... I've not got a script for this video, so I'm just going to keep going off on limbs and keep just going off. Vinicius Junior, again from Manchester City, his stats are mental. I'm pretty sure the last 5 years he's played them every season and he's scored or assist in every game on the counter-attack. What we've needed against a team like Man City, Liverpool even, because this season we were rubbish against Liverpool, and then obviously the European giants, PSG, Real Madrid, Barca. What we've needed against those teams is quick, skillfulness, smartness in attack. Gyökeres brought that against Atletico Madrid. He held up a ball well, played it off. Great. But we need those wingers. We've got Saka, who still can become world class. Not quite yet, because of the injuries that he's had, but can be. We need to manage his minutes. I think Zolis can also play out on the right hand side, which could help with him and Madueke, which could also fix the Martinelli issue if we were to get Vinicius Junior. But to have Gyökeres and Havertz, either one of them, because they're both great. Vinny out on the left and Saka on the right. That is a world-class attack. Gyökeres and Havertz will never be world-class strikers. But Gyökeres is a European-class striker. He will turn up for you and do a job. If you get that ball where he wants it, to him, there's a high chance he'll score. You know, you saw against Tottenham. You gave him space at the edge of the box and he easily scored. It wasn't even a question. He made it look easy. So, the question is Vinicius Junior willing to leave Real Madrid, leave Jose Mourinho? Obviously, he's not been happy at Real Madrid, not been happy in Spain for a couple of years now. He's ran down his contract. Is he willing to now leave that new project, come to Arsenal, champions of England, help us be champions of Europe next season, and adhere to what Arteta wants? That is the question. I think yes. I think we're a massive club. We're a gargantuan club. Of course we are. Champions of England 14 times now. 14-time FA Cup winners. What a trophy. What a trophy, mate. League Cups a couple of times. And I can just imagine him in an Arsenal shirt, and it's amazing. It really is. Now, Bruno Guimaraes, we've been working on that for a couple of weeks. Hand of Arsenal has been reporting on it for a couple of weeks. He's been talking to clubs. He's been talking to the club. He's been, talking to his sources that he has, and so obviously Fabrizio Romano and David Ornstein. Why did I say it like that? Fabrizio Romano has been talking to his sources. So Hand of Arsenal, David Ornstein and Fabrizio have been talking to their sources. It's all indicating to me like we're going to get the deal done within the next week or two. Fabrizio last night posted on Twitter and Instagram that we're going to submit an official bid of £70 million next week. And that's exciting. We need a backup midfielder for Zubimendi, and Rice. Ødegaard and Eze will interchange depending on Ødegaard's fitness. But if Rice is not fit, Rice is not going to be fit. He was a shadow of his former self in the World Cup, and that is, obviously worrying for us Arsenal fans. But if we've got Bruno Guimaraes in, that'd be very nice, very calming for me. So Bruno Guimaraes would come in and be in that double pivot with either Miles, Lewis Skelly, or Zubimendi. I assume Zubimendi, because I assume he'll have got his legs back, because they were taken from him halfway through the season last season. Don't know why, he just stopped running, stopped performing. I think once Rice is fit, he will take over from Zubimendi, and him and Zubimendi will have some really great competition for places. And I think it's really healthy to have that type of competition. Not on the left wing, on the other hand, because there's too many. But because there's so many places in the midfield to compete for, it'd be really, really exciting. I'm happy we didn't get Morgan Rogers because, you've already got Eze and Ødegaard, competing, and that Cam. And personally, I think Eze's a better player, but he's always going to lose out to Ødegaard because it's Ødegaard's captain. So to add Morgan Rogers into that mix would have been bad, and he's not best out wide. So to go for him would have been good. It would have been another statement, but it's not the right signing for me, I think. Then we move on to defence. Piero Hincapié has signed on a permanent. We knew that was going to happen. The question is, do we want to play him in the Saliba's role and play Ricky Calafiori out on the left back because of, the injuries and all of that? Or do we want to play Mosquera at centre-back over Saliba? Because that is going to be the debate for Arsenal. Is Hincapié good enough at centre-back? Or is it going to be Mosquera? Is he experienced enough at centre-back? For me, I think neither of them. Mosquera is not experienced enough. He's prone to a mistake a little bit. And Hincapié is a very, very good left-back option if Ricardo Calafiori gets injured. And we know he struggles with fitness. So I think we've got to go out for another centre-back. We're looking at Ezri Konsa. We're looking at John Stones. If we get those over the line and in the door, that would be amazing. That is all the transfer news from Arsenal. Done in 13 minutes. No editing, no cuts, no script. Thank you very much for watching. See you in the next video. Bye bye.